Hey, so I want to make sure that you know how to elevate your business with the Enneagram. And we're going to talk about success secrets so that you can really become the best version of yourself in every way that you operate. A little about me, my name is Kristen Edwards. I'm a speaker and coach. But before I got into this world, I spent my life on the stage as a theater geek. I started acting when I was just 5 years old, and I loved everything about it. But I specifically remember my eighth grade audition. I went to a school, there were about 25 people in my class. You're automatically guaranteed a role in the play, but I wanted everyone to know that I was the best singer, that I had worked hard for it, that I'm going to be the best actor on that stage. And I remember standing in that audition room, consistently determined to say, how am I going to prove that I am capable of what I know I've worked hard for, that I'm capable of sharing my talents with the world. Thankfully, that audition went well, but it was the most nerve-wracking event. But it's something that stayed with me my entire life. Whether you've done performing arts or sports or something else, you know that the auditions, the tryouts are the hardest part of the game. For many of you, if you haven't done sports or performing arts, it could have been just watching someone on So You Think You Can Dance or American Idol. You see all of the nerves on their face, sometimes physically in their body, as they take everything that they have and they're laying it out on the stage, allowing someone else to decide what their fate might be. And then it continues for us. For me, I was always the youngest, not only just among my siblings, but in my class. And many times I was one of the few people of color in the room, and in my career too. I can literally think of a handful of times that there'd be more than two Black women in a conference room or any session that I've ever been doing. But I was a very analytical person, and it stayed with me my entire life that one, I felt like I had to prove that I was special, unique, and individual. So I went to college and decided to become a math major. How else are you going to stand out as a Black woman? By running towards the numbers. But how do I explain being a theater lover as well as being a math major? I felt the inner turmoil, and I started to accept the label that other people had put on me as being the weird girl. It didn't make sense. All of the other people who did theater were either theater majors or English majors. I was the only one doing anything logically or analytically oriented. Inside that math classroom, again, there were four women in my major. I was the only one of color. And in my career, consistently sitting in a room where I'd be one of the few among 20 or 25 people in a particular team. But I always wanted to know how I could get better, prove myself, and I became obsessed with personality tools, from Myers-Briggs to DISC, StrengthsFinder, you name it. But I became obsessed with the Enneagram because it literally read my rights. I saw everything about myself, who I am, and how I'm meant to show up in this world. It explained everything that I thought made me the weird girl, and I learned to own and embrace my identity so that I could now identify as wonderful. Although you'll still hear me call myself the weird girl along the way. But today I want to make sure that you can take those same wonderful tools that I gained from the Enneagram and allow you to now simplify, magnify, and amplify the work that you do within your business and with the people that you serve. That starts by setting clear intentions, not just why are you here during this summit, but why are you doing the work that you do? Why did you choose your profession, your career, whether in corporate, on a side hustle, or a full-blown business? It doesn't matter what stage you're in. Get really clear on why does this matter to you. And then you can also use that Enneagram to help you make the next level decisions, always striving for more, becoming better, greater, more diligent in the work that you do. But it always happens when we trust ourselves and we can trust in our own abilities. So again, there's a lot of different personality theories out there. I studied trait theory actually as I continued in school, changing my major from math to dropping that to a math and computer science minor, but I had an organizational major. And then on the flip side of it, went on to get my master's in leadership development. And I studied trait theory of personality because one thing that I realized is that when you know your true self, it brings an awareness within you that you get excited about the growth process, changing for the better, making the world a better place, and obviously getting to leave your mark on how you shine, not just by looking different or sounding different, but really bringing new ideas and making the world what we believe it really gets to be. Now, there's a lot of great tools out there. I'm biased towards the Enneagram, but whether it's human design or something else, it's completely up to you to choose how you want to apply it. The important thing is knowing that it doesn't put you in a box. It actually gives you the foundation for you to stand on top of that box and embrace your true self along the way. So what is the Enneagram? Because if you've seen it, it's a lot, and I totally get it and agree. First off, I grew up, like many of you, probably in a Christian household, and these were symbols I was told to run away from. And so it took me some time to warm up and understand it. But this is actually a Greek symbol, and the word itself means Greek, meaning diagram of nine or drawing of nine. And the reason it's a circle is because we are all connected as humans. We can look like a different number on different days because, quite frankly, we are a combination of our heart, our head, and our body, right? It all comes together, but you get to choose how you want to show up. The Enneagram itself defines our personality types. It helps us to describe those individual behavior tendencies, our motivations, our desires, our triggers, and really how we get to choose to show up in the workplace and as business owners. Probably, if you've heard of the Enneagram, most likely on social media, it started with dating and relationships. But if we think about where we spend our time, as much as we might love our partners, we spend a lot of our time at work. So why not build the relationships that you get to be strategic and building a business that adds to your bottom line? Now, in understanding the Enneagram, this grid is interesting, and I acknowledge that. But I want to break it down and make it simple for you. And this is where we'll spend the majority of our time today. First off are the Enneagram triads. So there's the feeling triad, also known as your heart triad, again, kind of centered from that emotional state of being. There's your thinking triad, also known as the head triad, kind of grounding everything with your thoughts before your actions or your feelings kick into place. And the instinctive triad can also be known as the body or gut triad. Many times, we will think that we're one thing or another because social media has put us in a box and made us think that we're one thing. So as we go through this, I want you to think about your true innate tendencies, not what you're doing, but thinking about why you're leaning to do those things. Starting off with the 2, and sorry for those of you who like to do things in order, the 2 is actually the beginning, and that's how you know I didn't create this either. But the 2 is identified as the helper. As a helper, you're known as someone who's always willing to serve, giving the shirt off your own back. What can I do for someone else? The 3s are known as the achiever, always striving for success and wanting to be accomplished in the work that they do. And the 4 is known as the individualist, really trying to be unique and different and setting out so that everyone can see how unique and special they are in the work that they're doing. What brings the 2s, 3s, and 4s together is that they're all driven by their heart, their emotions, their feelings. And secretly, all 3 of these types are people pleasers. I'm helping so that you can see how kind I am. I'm achieving so that you can see how smart, talented, brave, beautiful, whatever fill in the blank is good enough that I am. Or the 4 is I'm going out of my way to show you how different, how special, how unique I can be in the work that I do. All 3 of these types, again, are people pleasers in their natural state of being. Now, you can learn to put up boundaries and protect yourself, protect your time, protect your resources, which is always a great thing. But a lot of times when 2s, 3s, and 4s are not able to please others by helping, achieving, or standing out, they feel ashamed for who they are and how other people see them. The 5, 6, and 7, moving over to our head triad. So 5 is known as the investigator. They're usually the researcher, the bookworm. If you know kind of brand archetypes, they're usually known as like the sage. They hold all of the knowledge and information for what they do. The 6 is known as the loyalist. They have your back no matter what. If you're their person, if you're in their inner circle, whatever it is, they're kind of that ride or die personality that we're used to seeing. And then the 7 is known as the enthusiast, sometimes labeled the spontaneous one or the party animal, but they actually have a really big vision. They just don't actually do anything about the big ideas and the big vision in their natural state of being. The 5, 6, and 7, everything for them is centralized around their thoughts. I think it's fun. I think it's important. I think this other person will see the best in me. But if they're not able to think the most opportunistic ways, they start to go back into a way of finding fear. And at the bottom of everything that we see, they feel scared that people will not think that they're smart enough, scared that people will not think that they are loyal enough, or scared that people will not see them as the fun one in the group. And then you have your gut or instinctive triad, your eights, nines, and ones. Type 8, known as the challenger. They always have a new idea, kind of natural born leaders. They have a lot of control issues. And I say that as a type 8 myself. We just want things done a certain way, and we want to make sure that there's a clear agenda and mission behind what it is that's getting done. Then you have your nines, known as the peacemaker. They're usually trying to navigate conflict in a way that everyone ends up at a happy standpoint. And your ones, known as the reformer. They have a high standard of excellence. They see the world as right or wrong, black or white, and it takes time for them to develop a sense of seeing gray in the world and the in-between. A lot of times people have thoughts about a type 1. We'll see them as pastors, lawyers, teachers. And if you're not striving for the excellence that they have, we'll kind of start to see them as like antagonistic because they have such a high standard of excellence, and they want everyone that's around them to also gravitate towards becoming the best version of themselves. We'll also hear people talk about the nines being peacemakers or conflict avoidant, but the truth is the eights, nines, and ones are all centered on that same kind of thing, and they want the best for others. And if they're not able to see the best, they'll actually develop a lot of anger because they desire justice in the world. And that comes out in different ways, different places, how they choose to show it. Some are actually like fighting and screaming, and others are like, let's go write a new law and present a bill to Congress to create the change that we want to see in the world. We all have one core number. You'll have one core type. Now, if you've experienced the Enneagram, you probably said, 5 years ago, I was a this, and today I'm a that. The truth is your core number never changes. You might come into a level of awareness. You might have shown up a certain way 5 years ago because it got you the job, it got you through college, it got you through XYZ situation in your life. But were you being true to yourself, or were you just protecting yourself, creating a shell or outer exterior to get through the situations you were in your life? Again, your core number never changes. But what we do have are wing types, growth, and stress numbers to go with it. Using the 9 at the top as an example, a 9's wing type, your core number being a 9, your wing could be an 8 or a 1. So if someone says, I'm a 9 wing 8, that means at the surface, they're very kind of a calm peacemaker, neutral in the way that they see the world and how they want to create peace. However, there are times where if they don't see the peace that they want, they will take control in the situation to create the peace. You can almost think of mom, right, navigating her children in different things of like, I want peace in this house, so you go here and you go there along the way. That is one way to see like a 9 wing 8. A 9 wing 1 is someone who, again, I want peace and justice in my world. Martin Luther King Jr. was actually an 8 wing 9, Barack Obama being a 9 wing 1. So both striving for change in the world of how they wanted to see it and fighting for the good that they believed in. Now, before I get too much further in the growth and stress numbers, again, I said at the beginning of this, you get to choose how you show up in the world. So both Adolf Hitler and Martin Luther King Jr. are Enneagram type 8s. They're both natural born leaders. They led a cause and a mission that they truly believed in. I think it's kind of obvious on what those missions might have been, and they chose to lead in very different ways. So you can choose to lead for good or lead for bad. Whatever your innate types, you can choose to be a healthy or unhealthy version of yourself and creating the justice that you believe is in this world. For our type 3s, as an example of their growth numbers, when a 3 is achieving, again, they want to achieve, they want people to recognize how smart, pretty, talented, bold, beautiful, special that they are, and they're always achieving a status. 3s are the type of people that when you hop on a Zoom call with them, you can see all of their diplomas and certificates hovering behind their head because they want you to see that recognition of and recognize what they have accomplished. A 3 at their absolute best in times of growth is going to use their strength, their arrow would go towards the right, looking like a loyalist. And so the 3 would use all of their abilities and their talents to bring other people together and to create a community. And then we have our stress numbers. That would be a number to the left. So a 3, when really stressed out and not able to accomplish what they set out to do, actually starts to look very conflict avoidant and will kind of start to pull back and away from other people who probably could support them along their journey. So again, you have your core number. You can have a wing type that is adjacent to your number. So it is not possible to be a 7 wing 3 or a 6 wing 1. The numbers are in a circle and they stay attached. So it's numbers to the immediate left or right of your circle that dictate your wing. Your growth number is the arrow that goes to the right or down from your number. So an 8 at their best, although naturally kind of a controller and a challenger to the systems, at their best, they will help and serve and guide and deliver, create an impact in the people that they serve. An 8, when stressed, will look like the investigator. They start going out and getting more degrees. They start wanting to prove extra certificates and letters behind their name, how special and brilliant that they could be. And even in my story, you heard that. I wanted to prove what I could control in my life by choosing my major, by getting a master's degree, by earning the role in a particular play. And I did it time and time again to prove that I was smart enough and capable enough and talented enough in the work that I've done. But as I've realized that about myself and grown into who I am at my best, I now turn around and take the Enneagram knowledge that I've learned and helping others to say, this is who I am. Take it or leave it, but this is how I'm going to show up as the best version of myself. And I now use that knowledge to help others in the way that they're doing. So I hope as you look at your core number and also your wings and your growth and stress numbers, recognize how you can change those stressful moments into an opportunity for growth to become the best version of yourselves and impact others in the work that you do every day in your business. Now, a reminder for each Enneagram type. And this works for you as an individual, as well as recognizing this in those that you might work with. I always love to kind of know Enneagram types of people that I've been working with on a consistent basis, because it helps me communicate in a way that resonates and lands with them. I'm not forcing them. If they're like, I'm not into that stuff, it's totally acceptable. And again, you can use this with a lot of personality tools, but making sure that you find a way to say, I want to make sure that we can collaborate and communicate effectively to always add to the bottom line, to serve our clients, to make an impact, or whatever your mission might be as well. So reminders for each Enneagram type. If you're a type 1, your success does not define who you are, and you don't need to fix everything at all. Just let it go. You don't have to fix every single broken system in the world. You can fix one of them, and that obviously is a good thing. We do need to make change, but recognizing where you are and where you can serve best. If you're a type 2, recognize that saying no to other people will reduce that feeling of burnout, and it allows you to then make greater impact, AKA set boundaries and say no to people. And then for a type 3, our communication fosters cooperation. And again, it adds to the bottom line. As you communicate your goals, let people know, hey, this is what I'm striving for. Those that agree with you will come alongside you and will give you the boost that you need to reach your next level of success. For type 4s, your innovative ideas will spark curiosity in others. And again, they'll be able to collaborate with you along the journey. For type 5s, recognize that you can take action and learn by doing, and that you do not need to do all of the knowledge seeking on your own. Lean into a community of people that are caring and understanding around you. For type 6, your natural loyalty trait allows others to feel safe in sharing their ideas with you, and that allows them to then go out and make their impact on the world as well. For type 7s, your enthusiasm is contagious, but it's also okay to relax and know that you're still valuable. For type 8s, your standards give others permission to hold their standards. And for type 9s, as a default, you can always blame the contract when people are always asking to add to the scope of work or to add one extra thing, recognizing that you can ask for an increase in compensation or figure out a way to negotiate because it was not in the additional writings, the guidelines, the contracts or agreements that were written at the beginning. And so whether you are this core personality type, or maybe you've been operating your business out of a season of stress, and so maybe it's not your core number, but your stress number that you want to look at and say, these are changes that I need to make. And then when you work with other people that might be one of these particular types, recognizing that this is a way that you can communicate with them as well to hold to those standards and always achieve the success that you're looking for. Now, always consider how you communicate with other people. Resist the desire to type someone based on common assumptions. Especially as Black women, we like to assume that we're all type 8s. Can't tell you how many women of color by default say, I'm a type 8. We have learned certain things based on society, our upbringing, our cultures that make us look on the surface like a type 8. But think about why you do what you do. Is it to get recognition from others? Is it to be validated? Is it to prove that you're smart enough? Are you doing it for justice? Are you doing it out of shame, fear, overcompensating for other things? So don't assume you're a particular type until you've really done the research and self-reflection. And also don't assume that someone else must be a type 3 because they came across in a particular situation as well. You can use the Enneagram to spark understanding of other people, whether in your teams, in your workplace, whether one-on-one conversations in personal or professional relationships. This is a great foundational setting of saying, how can I support you better? How can I reward your hard work? How can I keep you motivated? Some people are motivated by money, others are motivated by influence, and some people just want some fame and recognition and the spotlight and attention for 5 minutes. Recognize what that is and help bring that to that person so that they're always continuously helping and supporting your vision as well. The Enneagram is not designed to pigeonhole anyone. And so again, it is not designed to put you in a box. It allows you to have a platform to stand on, to embrace your natural abilities and show up as your best self. And then use the Enneagram to know how you can serve your clients. If you think about your marketing platforms, if you're a particular type, share that in your marketing to attract those that are going to benefit from the work that you do. If you don't want to become a better version of yourself, I'm not your person. And I say that in how I show up in every single situation of make yourself better so that you can make your business better and continue the impact that you want to make in the world. And so that helps with my core Enneagram number, but also who I am as an individual. And so openly use the language that you gain from your awareness of your Enneagram type to share that with others in the work that you're doing. And then be sure to obviously not just absorb this information, especially if you're a type 5, don't just absorb this information, but activate and accelerate in the work that you're doing. Make decisions on how you can simplify things with clear intentions, with a clear vision, and communicate that vision with others. You can really hone in on what you do and how you do it, amplify your zones of genius when you really accept how the Enneagram helps you grow your self-awareness. And the best part is that you get to expand and amplify what you do when you have a clear strategy, because you can also use the Enneagram to align to your business goals, to align to your communication. So from marketing to sales to client and customer onboarding to the exit interview and all the way through, you can use the Enneagram to build your business strategy. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I hope to connect with you all soon.